know, a lot of times as adults we don't even take our own advice. But I can give you just some little gems or jewels about my life. My name is Liz Miranda, Cape Verdean American. I'm 33 years old. I grew up on Dudley Street. My whole life was between Upham's Corner and Roxbury Crossing. Anyone familiar with that? That street, Dudley Street, Malcolm X Boulevard, that was my entire life. I spent most of my life around the corner from my ideal sub shop, and then I got a job when I was 14 in OP, and I consider Orchard Park Housing Development my second home, and it has a lot to do with why I did this film called Dudley Street Dreams. I've had a lot of amazing things happen in my life, and I've had a lot of tragedy in my life. And sometimes, I'm not going to get emotional today, I just got off the plane, so I'm a little tired. But the good stuff doesn't outweigh the bad stuff. I think sometimes when bad things happen to you, I look around the room, some of you are standing in your own way. Some of you are making excuses for yourself, some of you are freaking lazy. And I'm just going to keep it 100. My godson just graduated last week, Emmanuel. I don't know if y'all know him, Green Eyes. We talk about it all the time. We can blame a lot of people for things that happen in our lives, but once you pass 16, you have a lot of control about what you do with your life. And some of us, right, let's keep it 100 with ourselves. Come to school late, you might not like a teacher, so we just don't even study. Maybe you don't like somebody in school. Maybe you don't like your housing situation. So I'm going to tell you about how I triumphed beyond that. My mom had me at 17. We've never had a relationship. I don't know how many people in this room. It's not my mother's fault. She's an amazing woman, but she was young. She didn't know what she was doing. And the first 5 years of my life, I don't know how many of you guys have gone through this, but I just got shuttled from house to house to house. Anyone have that situation? Like from grandmother to aunt to maybe sometimes people's houses I didn't even know. But she worked, and that was her way of loving me and providing for me. And she just wanted to do better, right? She never graduated from Madison. That's where she went. On my graduation year, I went to O'Brien. It was so dope because I went to O'Brien, I did well, and I graduated. And I did that not just for me, but I did it for her because I knew how much she wanted me to not repeat her stuff. My real father, I know the dude, never been in my life. It's kind of funny. He never supported me, but in my successful years as an entrepreneur, he's called me quite a few times for some assistance. It's funny how the world works. The person who just denied me, didn't help me, helped everybody else, you know what I'm saying? One day he had to call me to ask for help. So sometimes I'm just trying to tell you that life sometimes makes a circle. You know, when I was younger, it hurt me. I used to see him and I just wanted to be close to my father so bad that I would do stupid stuff. I even went to church one year for 6 months straight because the man would go to church every week, not take care of his kids. It didn't make no sense to me. But that was my relationship with my father. My brothers, I'm one of 11 kids. My father had 9 kids. But I always wanted to get to know my family. All 3 of my brothers have been locked up. 1 did 10 years, got deported. The other one has done 17 years in and out. He actually was out last year. Sadly, he was out for 8 months, and we were so excited. And then he went back in. He went back in because he said, I can't deal with the real world. A lot of times people think thugging is cute, but when you go into jail, it's nothing cute about being in a cell that's 10 by 10. Understand? So he's mentally impacted for the 17 years that he's in jail. The first thing he did was he stole a car with his friends, and that just started leading him down a path that wasn't good. And my younger brother has done 2 stints in jail for gun charges. He's finally out. So I had all this stuff happen to me. Plus my neighborhood, Dudley Street, you know, everybody's neighborhood is rough. I could from mostly everyone in here, so Roxbury, Dorchester, Panama, for South, NJP, wherever. If I look at my street of Clifton Street, Clifton and Woodward Ave is where I grew up. We've been in the news so many times, like every other house on my block, someone has been murdered. So imagine I'm going through all this stuff in my family, and then my block, I keep losing my friends. But there was something my stepfather told me that stuck with me that to this day I say to students, and that he told me that a long time ago that education was the one thing that nobody could take from me. And remember, I already had abandonment issue. I already had issues with people taking stuff. My mother wasn't there, my father wasn't there, my brothers were in jail. So I had this issue, talk about having a rough shell. I had this issue of like, you're not going to take nothing from me anymore. And that stuck with me when I was in school, because I could have did bad in school. You know, Bryant's a little hard, and my friends weren't applying themselves, but there was something in me that said, you know, I want to be able to be in the hood on my own terms. Does that make sense? Yes. I live in the community I grew up in, but I lived there by choice. I could live anywhere I want in the city, but I wanted to come back to my neighborhood because I wanted the kids and my friends to see that nothing, no amount of money, no amount of success was going to change me. So by a fluke, I don't know how I did it, I got into Wellesley, which is one of the #1 schools in the world. It's a women's college. Mind you, I'm from the inner city, so I was like, where the dudes at? I was like tripping out, like going to the woods, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it was 4 years of being among women who were powerful, who were doing things. And so when I graduated Wellesley, I didn't come out the same. I met Justin, and I'll tell you a little bit about my history. Currently, I teach at Bunker Hill, so some of y'all talk about 2-year college. I teach business. And the reason why I teach business is because I've been in business for 12 years and I made a lot of mistakes. And I feel like my debt to the society is to teach people like me how not to make mistakes like I made. I was in college and I was bored. So I told you Wellesley was a women's college. It was in the middle of nowhere, right? It's only next to Newton, but it was like I was in a different planet from Roxbury. You know, any of y'all take the #1 bus?